I've been in this position before at the Battle of Marengo. I lost the battle at 5 o'clock, but I won it back again at 7!
Hello there everyone, welcome to the channel if you're new, welcome back if you aren't. I'm EDJ, and I'm going to be wearing the shades because I recovered from illness. I had this really bad headache, and also I had a sty in my left eye here, and my eyelid got all swollen, and right now it's good and all that, but I'm still a little self-conscious, so I'm just going to wear the shades for this video. But yeah, we have finally arrived to the Battle of Marengo. So, to put it as simply as I always do, basically how the Battle of Marengo went is that Milas attacks the French. I think it's on the night of June 13th, and it basically carries on to the next day. And eventually the French are driven back and, defeated. Milas concludes that the battle is won, and then basically hands over the command to Zach, I believe. And basically, it's during this defeat that Napoleon meets up with Desailly, and Desailly is famously stated as saying, though the battle is lost, there is still time to win another. And then the French regroup, show back up, beat up the Austrians, and bam, we win. Basically. It's kind of funny, it's okay, awesome, we won, we defeated the French, and then they just show back up even stronger. It's it's kind of funny. Common Austrian L. Dude, we should do a drinking game. I don't drink alcohol, but if I did, I would do one every time the Austrians lose to Napoleon. You would die. I'm sorry. I make fun of the Austrians so much. I apologize, guys. But, yeah, that's basically my oversimplified way of stating how things went. Obviously, there's more to it than that, and we're gonna get into the finer details during this video, I have no doubt. And yeah, this is really the biggest battle of the War of the Second Coalition. This is really the one, probably the only one people talk about, and obviously it's the big one, and it's regarded as one of Napoleon's great victories. Though I will say, Desailly really did come in clutch this time. That was kind of a real awesome baller statement. There's still time to win another battle. Unfortunately, he dies in this battle, so he wasn't around in the later, Napoleonic War era, so yeah. Oh well. So, yeah, I don't really have much else to add other than we should, get to the video. Yeah, without any further ado, let's just get to the video.
The 13th of June, 1800. Napoleon Bonaparte, first consul of France, has just pulled off one of history's boldest maneuvers. He has marched his army over the ice-covered Alps to arrive behind the Austrian army in Italy.
I love that painting, even though obviously everyone's quick to point out it's propaganda, he crossed on a mule. It still looks cool. It just looks awesome. This is such a beautiful painting. And there are different variants of it, like I mentioned last video. Sometimes the cape is red, here it's gold. There are variants to this one painting, but yeah, also I believe here in the bottom there are names. I believe you can spot Hannibal Barca's name. And yeah, overall, just like I said, just a real beautiful piece of art.
He has captured Milan and defeated every enemy force he's met so far. Everything is going as planned. Now, Napoleon spreads his forces in a wide cordon to prevent the escape of General Melas's Austrian army. General Chabran and 3,400 men guard the River Po. General Lapointe, with 3,500 men, is sent to reinforce him. General Desailly, with 5,000 men, moves south to block the road to Genoa. This leaves Napoleon with just 22,000 men, advancing west onto the plains of Scrivia. But the first consul has been misled by the over-optimistic reports of scouts and spies. Mélas is not planning to retreat. He has concentrated 30,000 veteran troops around the fortress city of Alessandria. They are well rested, supplied, and have a great superiority in cavalry and artillery. And they are preparing to attack. Oblivious to the looming threat, on the 13th of June, General Victor and his 2 divisions lead the French advance on Alessandria. In heavy rain, his men drive a small Austrian rearguard from the village of Marengo back towards a fortified bridgehead on the Bormida River. But the French find the crossing heavily defended. And so, soaked and exhausted, with darkness falling, they halt the pursuit. Weeks ago, Napoleon had predicted that the decisive battle of the campaign would be fought on this very ground, the plain east of Alessandria. But now, he is convinced that Mélas will not risk battle. What he and his men cannot see beyond the Bormida, because they have lit no campfires, are 30,000 Austrians, assembled for an assault. Within hours, Napoleon will discover that his army is fighting for its life.
As we approach the decisive moment, only courage, bravery, and steadiness can punish a recklessly advancing enemy. Austrian order of the day.
Dawn, the 14th of June. Napoleon's forces are spread across 8 miles of open country and scattered vineyards. General Victor's 2 divisions are the farthest west, holding Marengo and the main road. Behind him, General Lannes and several cavalry regiments. Napoleon, with the Consular Guard and Monniere's division, is yet further back. Mélas's forces are concentrated west of the Bormida, behind the Austrian bridgehead. His chief of staff, General Anton von Zach, has planned a 2-pronged assault. General Ott's division will cross the river and advance north to Castel Ceriolo. Mélas, with the bulk of the army, will attack directly up the main road. On a clear morning, at 8 AM,
yeah, everything's going really well for Mélas, mainly because of the numerical superiority, kind of like last video. You know, how he was able to drive back people such as Massena and Suchet. It's just obviously the numerical superiority. And yeah, Napoleon's plan, you know, once crossing the Alps was obviously to kind of trap Mélas, though that situation became a little more complicated after Massena, you know, basically threw in the towel, and, you know, basically surrendered during the siege, right? So here a misled Napoleon with a numerically weaker force is now, you know, facing Mélas, who has the advantage. And obviously numbers aren't everything, but still, it helps, you know? And as we know, it helps him a bit here.
Austrians begin their advance. French outposts are driven back. At the Pedrabona farm, Gardan's division comes under heavy bombardment. He falls back to join the rest of Victor's troops, which are deploying behind the Fontanone stream. This narrow, steep-sided waterway runs the length of the battlefield and is swollen by recent rain. The only easy crossing is a small wooden bridge at the main road. And on the far bank, Victor's men are shielded by trees and sturdy farmhouses. As the Austrians approach the Fontanone, they are hit by a hail of musket fire. Scores go down as they struggle to cross the stream. General Hadig leads a charge, but falls mortally wounded. After several failed attacks, the Austrians fall back with heavy losses.
The number one question I am asked about these days is Paleo Valley's grass-fed organ complex.
North of Victor's position, General Bellegarde's brigade crosses the Fontanone around 11 AM. But General Lannes' division takes up position on Victor's flank. They drive off Bellegarde and re-establish the line along the stream. It is now a hot, humid summer's day, as Austrian attacks continue and fighting rages along the Fontanone. More and more Austrian cannon are pulled up and begin to pulverize the French line. Throughout the morning, Melas's army is hindered by narrow crossing points and marshy ground. General Zach's failure to anticipate these bottlenecks has cost several hours. Nevertheless, by noon, the Austrians have 30,000 men and 92 guns in position. They still only face Lannes' and Victor's tiring divisions, 16,000 men and 16 guns. The French urgently need reinforcements, but as the Austrians begin their next attack, Napoleon and the rest of the army are nowhere to be seen. The greatest danger is on the French right, where General Ott's division has occupied Castelceriolo virtually unopposed, and now threatens Lannes' flank. Then the Austrians find a gap near the French centre and rush 3 battalions across the Fontanone. Around the same time, 1,500 Austrian dragoons circle around the French left, but are charged and routed by General Kellermann's heavy cavalry. The Austrians do succeed in taking La Stortigliona farm, threatening Victor's left. An Austrian cavalry charge over the Marengo bridge is also repulsed by Kellermann.
Yo, Kellermann's coming in clutch. But yeah, it's like, yeah, they're holding off well, but you do see, it's like sometimes it's just the numbers game, right? It can like really help you out there.
But the odds are too great. Some French units are completely out of ammunition. They have just a handful of cannon, and their line is breaking. Facing encirclement, Victor's divisions are the first to give way, losing 400 men captured in Marengo. Another 300 French soldiers are left behind in Casabianca, where they hold out stubbornly for several hours. Covered by the 96th Demi Brigade and Kellermann's watchful cavalry, Victor's division retreats half a mile to Spinetta and its surrounding vineyards. The Austrians pour over the Fontanone. Lannes pulls back to maintain the French line. The heroes of Montebello are on the brink.
Yeah, overall, just a really great resistance. Obviously, like, you know, the overwhelming power of the manpower of the Austrians at this particular moment is just driving everyone back. Though, you know, obviously Lanz and Kellerman, they're putting up a resistance, which is just, yeah, very admirable, right? But yeah, it's just everyone else coming late. That's kind of the thing. Suddenly a murmur of joy and hope rose from the ranks. The man of battles and victories appeared. Bonaparte, General Victor.
When the Austrian attack began, Napoleon was 7 miles away, at his headquarters in Torre Garofoli. Although he could hear the distant thunder of cannon, he did not grasp its full significance and remained focused on blocking the Austrians' escape. Only at 11 AM did reports arrive to reveal the gravity of the situation. Napoleon knows there is not a moment to lose. He scrawls an order to Desaix, who he sent to cut off the Austrian retreat and is now 4 miles away. I had thought to attack the enemy. They have attacked me. Come in the name of God, if you still can. He sends the same order to General Lapointe. Then he races to the front with his only reserves, Monniere's division and the Consular Guard. By 3 PM, Lannes and Victor have retreated almost a mile. Austrian cavalry shadow their withdrawal, forcing the French to stay in close formation. Austrian guns send round shot crashing through the packed ranks. Remarkably, the French battalions are still holding. When Napoleon arrives, he sees the main threat is on the right, where Ott is poised to turn the French flank. To counter this, he sends Monniere's division to Castelceriolo, forcing Ott to draw off troops. But that still leaves General Schellenberg's 4,000-strong division. So Napoleon commits his ultimate reserve, 900 men of the elite Consular Guard. Against the odds, the Guard repels enemy cavalry and holds its own in a close-range firefight with Austrian infantry, buying time for the rest of the army to fall back.
Amazing.
Napoleon describes them as his granite redoubt. The legend of the Guard is being born. But they are now isolated and about to be overwhelmed. When Austrian dragoons hit their exposed flank and rear, the redoubt crumbles. The Guard is forced to flee. Some surrender, many are cut down. By the end of the day, the Guard has suffered more than 50% casualties.
Dang.
With the retreat of the Guard, Napoleon has no more cards left to play. The French army retreats steadily through the vineyards, battered by constant Austrian artillery fire. Casualties and stragglers mean there are just 6,000 men left holding the French line. General Melas is satisfied that the French have been beaten. Having been injured in a fall from his horse, he now hands over command to his Chief of Staff, General Zach. Then he returns to Alessandria to draft a report describing his great victory.
You know, it reminds me of those old memes. I remember many years back, there would be like these memes, like videos on YouTube when you celebrate too early, and it would be like people in sports, they'd be like, yeah, and then they would immediately like get wrecked. Just like, that kind of reminds me right now. Of that situation. He's like, well, all in a good day's work, and then the French are like, Yeah, no, just Uno reverse his gain right here.
But he has underestimated French resilience and the fickle fortunes of war.
No matter what type of severe asthma you have, Tespire can help you have fewer attacks and relieve.
Yeah, like I said earlier, this battle is completely lost, but there is still time to win another. Just great quote there.
General Louis Desaix, just 31 years old, brave, brilliant, and modest. Napoleon describes their friendship as one his heart has for no other. That morning, his orders were to lead Boudet's division, 5,000 strong, across the Scrivia River to cut off the Austrian escape. But the recent rain had raised the water level and delayed his crossing. When Desaix heard the sound of battle to the north, he'd halted his men and sent a courier to get news. Napoleon's desperate order to return does not reach him until midday. Immediately, he about turns his division and marches to the sound of the guns. Desaix arrives on the eastern edge of the battlefield at 5 p.m. to find the French army in full retreat. Napoleon is at San Giuliano, 5 miles east of Marengo, where thousands of wounded soldiers are gathered. The mood is grim and despondent. But news of Desaix's arrival spreads like an electric shock. "Here they are! Here they are!" the troops exclaim. Napoleon is rejuvenated. "We have gone back far enough today," he tells his troops. "You know that my custom is always to sleep on the field of battle." The Austrian army is advancing on all fronts, but they are now scattered and disordered, and they have diverted forces north and south in an attempt to encircle the enemy. What's more, General Zach has advanced to lead the pursuit, handing overall command to General Keim. Several other Austrian generals have been wounded. Chains of command have become dangerously muddled. Using Desaix's fresh troops, Napoleon now prepares a last-ditch counterattack with all the supporting forces he can rally. General Marmont concentrates all the available guns, 18 of them, to blast the Austrians. Then, with the 9th Light Demi Brigade in the lead, the attack begins. The rapid fire of these experienced skirmishers staggers the Austrian advance. General Zach orders up more artillery and sends forward his elite grenadiers. The 9th Light falls back. To the Austrians, it seems the French are retreating once more. Suddenly, they are blindsided by the rest of Desaix's fresh troops, emerging without warning through the vineyards. Desaix joins the 9th Light and leads them forward in a bayonet charge. At this moment, he is shot through the heart and killed instantly. Seeing their commander fall, the 9th Light cries, "Vengeance!" and surges forward. General Kellerman thunders in with 400 heavy cavalry. They crash into the Austrian left flank. To add to the chaos, an Austrian ammunition wagon is hit and detonates in a tremendous explosion. The combined effect is devastating.
Dang, just complete 180, right? Dude, yeah, I'm gonna give Desai the MVP award, which is something if you've watched like enough of these videos, I just like randomly give the MVP award to certain people who do great. And like, yeah, Desai definitely earns the MVP award for this you know, instance in this video. Yeah, unfortunately he died. Like that's the most unfortunate thing. Like it would have been interesting to see what he could have added if he had like been around for like the later Napoleonic wars, but yeah, here just like, man, completely revived even Napoleon, who was seemingly defeated, for instance there, right? Just amazing.
Spreads, morale collapses. In just a few minutes, hundreds of Austrians lay down their arms and surrender. Thousands more flee, spreading terror among troops in the rear. General Zach, trapped in the rout, is among the 2,000 Austrian prisoners.
The charge rang out everywhere. Each of us turned around and ran forward. We did not shout anymore, we roared.
In an instant, the entire momentum of the battle has swung 180 degrees. Thousands of French troops who'd been retreating moments ago stop and join the attack. As the Austrian centre collapses, General Ott's division becomes dangerously exposed. His men soon join the rest of the army in their race to escape. Later that evening, General Murat adds the coup de grace, launching a final French cavalry charge that seals victory and drives the enemy back to their bridgehead. The Battle of Marengo was one of the greatest comebacks of the Napoleonic era. Thoroughly defeated by mid-afternoon, the French are completely victorious by nightfall.
Wow, just amazing. Just an amazing comeback, man. It's like snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, you know? Amazing.
It has been an exceptionally costly affair. The French lose a quarter of their army as casualties. The Austrians, more than a third. Napoleon himself contributed little to the victory. If not for the skill of his officers, the steadiness of his troops, and above all, Desai's last-minute arrival, he would surely have been defeated. The taste of victory is soured further when Napoleon learns that his friend Desai has been killed. He tells his secretary, "Yes, Bourrienne, I am satisfied. But Desai, what a triumph this would have been if I could have embraced him tonight on the field of battle." Instead, he dines alone. According to legend, on a hastily improvised dish of local ingredients that becomes known as chicken Marengo. General Melas, shaken by his unexpected defeat, is unsure how to react. Some of his officers urge him to continue fighting. Others advise him to escape. French forces are closing in from all directions. Hoping to buy time, Melas proposes a ceasefire to bury the dead. Napoleon refuses, unless Melas is also willing to discuss terms for the Austrian evacuation of northwest Italy. With little bargaining leverage, the old Austrian general accepts. Over the following days, Melas and Berthier negotiate a comprehensive armistice. In exchange for safe passage back to Austria, Melas agrees to evacuate Piedmont, Genoa, and Lombardy. France will once more dominate northern Italy. Napoleon has achieved his victory and cemented his position as France's new head of state. What's more, the near miraculous manner of his victory assures him more than ever of his own special destiny. The gods of war and fortune are with him. What limit can there be to his accomplishments? That winter, Moreau inflicts a second crushing defeat on the Austrians at the Battle of Hohenlinden. Defeated in Italy, and now Germany too, Austria finally sues for peace. The subsequent Treaty of Lunéville sees the French frontier advance to the River Rhine. In Italy, French client republics are officially recognized by Austria, and the following year, France annexes Piedmont. France is now larger and stronger than at any time since the reign of Charlemagne 1,000 years ago. She has just one remaining enemy: Great Britain. In 1801, British victories at Alexandria and Copenhagen drive home the fact that France cannot challenge Britain at sea, nor abroad. Britain has seen her continental allies defeated, and Russia is now actually threatening war. She has no prospect of building another coalition to challenge France on land. Both sides are exhausted by war. The result, after months of negotiation, peace. For the first time in Europe in 10 years. How long it will last, nobody is quite sure.
Not that long. Yeah, this is like one of the the only time the British and French make peace, and then it's just back to non-stop being enemies for the rest of the Napoleonic Wars.
Do you think you could replicate Napoleon's glory at Marengo?
No. is he? Yeah, let me play Total War Napoleon and get my butt kicked. Yeah.
Perhaps your command could have won a more decisive French victory.
No.
Or
No, I would have got my butt kicked so hard. I'm sorry. Like I said, I love learning about like all this like strategy and war and tactics, but like doesn't mean I think I could do it in any era of human history. But it is fun to learn about.
maybe saved the day for the Allies. Well, with Wargame Design Studios' campaign Marengo, you have the chance to refight this famous battle and test your skills as a Napoleonic commander. Campaign Marengo is a hex-based wargame that puts you in charge of French or Austrian forces. Its unrivaled historical detail and comprehensive recreation of Napoleonic battle tactics creates a truly immersive and challenging experience.
Okay, it kind of looks cool.
That's 25%
bike. Oh dang. All right, I'll definitely be checking that out. Let me see.
conflicts, from musket and pike battles. Thanks as always to the Patreon supporters who helped to make this channel possible. From builders such as Charlie, ad-free access.
So, yes, that's kind of the thing. We've kind of come full circle, haven't we, with the Napoleonic era and epic history. He's kind of covered everything. We already know the War of the Third Coalition onward, he has, all the way to Waterloo, he has covered. We've kind of come full circle. I mean, there are still things he can definitely cover, like, you know, Napoleon's coronation, and other battles he could give, spotlight, like the Battle of Dresden, but for the most part, it's finally complete, isn't it? Like, full circle, You know, you could just carry on with the War of the Third Coalition from here and just watch it all. And man, guys, it kind of does feel like an end. I mean, granted, I think there will be more Napoleonic videos he will cover, and there are still things he can cover, but the main outline of what happened is done. So it kind of does feel like an end of an era, and I'm happy to have kind of been here for it, because like I said, I think it was really this series in particular that grew my channel. I mean, I would say it was definitely the Dova Hadi Unbiased History of Rome series. That was the first one where I started growing, and it was definitely the Napoleon videos of Epic History TV that grew this channel of mine. So it does feel kind of nice to be here and to finally see, you know, like I said, I know there's probably gonna be more, probably, Napoleon videos, but I feel like for the most part we've covered the main scope of it. So again, like I said, it feels like a really special moment right now, and I'm really happy to have been on this ride through with Napoleon. And yeah, just really great. Just great video, great series. I would say this is probably arguably one of the best history videos of just on YouTube. Like, I think it might just be the best, at least definitely for Epic History TV, him alone, the best of all his series. And yeah, I definitely put him in the higher tier of history makers. I put him up with Kings and Generals and Historia and History March, I mean, like, as like almost a holy trinity of like history makers on YouTube. Like, just amazing. I really love it. And yeah, this was just really great. I loved watching this, and you know, if there be any more Napoleon videos, I will definitely be there to watch. But for the most part, I think we've covered, like I said, the main highlights of the Napoleonic Wars. And yeah, Epic History has so much to be proud of. This really was just spectacular. And you know, from all the military commanders, the greats that are mentioned, like Caesar and, you know, Alexander, I would say when I started this series, I knew the highlights of the Napoleonic Wars, you know, mainly from the Third Coalition onward. Obviously, Napoleon's greatest hits, his fall, like, I knew it, but, like, obviously I wouldn't call myself, like, well, I still wouldn't call myself an expert, no, by no means I am not, but, obviously I think I am more well-versed. And I definitely learned a lot more of the finer details of these events, not just the basic synopsis, you know? And, yeah, just what a great life Napoleon led. And, you know, I overall have come to really love, like, the Napoleonic era and, like, become obsessed with it. I mean, we've watched, like, the Waterloo movie, the 2002 Napoleon series. I watched that on this channel. I kind of want to watch the War and Peace 1960s Russian film, the 4-part of that, so I'm going to be watching that. So we've covered a lot of Napoleon on this channel. And like I said, it's something that I've come to admire a lot of the era and of the man himself. Many things. So like I said, I just really love this. This was really great, and I was happy to have been here and to catch this as it's been happening. You know, this has definitely been one of the joys of, like I said, like, I'm sorry I'm dragging on. Most of you probably aren't even listening anymore. You probably already left the video because, you know, the main reaction's done. But, you know, like I said, when I started this channel, I wasn't gonna be a history guy. It feels weird calling myself a history guy, but in a way I do only cover, like, history content. And, you know, I was gonna be watching a bunch of random stuff like on YouTube, other series from other creators, but I wasn't gonna be a history guy. But, you know, after we finished the Historia Civilis series, I got recommended the Napoleon by Epic History. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll watch it, you know. And since then, I've just been sorely a history guy. There was a brief moment after Historia Civilis I was trying to jump into other things, but thanks to the Napoleon series by Epic History, I've just stuck with only history reactions and videos. And I'm very glad I have, because I feel like I've learned a lot, you know, from just history in general, and I'm hoping to stick with it for as long as this channel goes on, until one of these days either I get too busy to make videos or I just leave. Randomly I decide I just don't want to make videos anymore, but so long as I'm here, I think we're gonna stick with history. And there's just so much to cover and learn, and I'm looking forward to all of it. So, I guess that's it for now. I will be seeing you all next time. Until then, bye everyone.